We're coming to the last of our talks. We are now really coming to kind of the end of a circle, or the beginning of the circles. We started yesterday with a talk about food and then about water. Today we continued with the topic of energy and then shelter. And now we want to talk about something that ties them all together. It's a topic of coordination. And here in Namibia, we have a land of opportunity. We are a relatively small population in a vast country with a lot of resources. We know of our challenges. We know of our opportunities. And when we want to organize ourselves, we have to probably look a little bit away from Western ideals and look at some time-proven traditions in Africa. And we want to introduce you today to a couple of new thinkers, old thinkers, people that tie things together, and ideas that are different from what we know, away from the conventional. And I'm very excited we have a panel of very out-of-the-box thinkers, I should say. You see the three panelists here. Ms. Selma is joining us from Nancy. That's a Namibian it's a network of cosmetics industry. She's going to tell us a little bit how they organize themselves. Mr. Stefan Brückner from Wolwedans and also Rural Revive. Really a new direction of how we can organize ourselves in the arid areas of the country. They're very close to the desert, operating out of Maltahöhe in the southwest of the country. Online, we will be joined by Mr. Will Ruddick from Kenya, who will tell us about alternative currency systems. Very excited to have him online. Welcome to Will. And last but not least, Emma will introduce the Living Earth movement to the hall and to the public. What new steps are after the Living Earth Expo. So I want to actually ask Mr. Stefan Brückner as first speaker to tell us a little bit about Rural Revive. Thank you.
Okay, hi, big audience. It's a true honor to speak for and spread the message. Okay. Rural Revive is a project that fits into the bigger Wolwedans sustainability strategy, which we call the Arid Eden Project. And basically, we've got a matrix of 5 C's. They are commerce, conservation, community, culture, and consciousness. And then we've got a few fields we are active in, and out of that we have a strategy. And under the community C, we've got the Rural Revive project. And what Rural Revive actually tries to do is to expand the impact of the work we do at Wolwedans beyond Wolwedans. So we are not just doing what needs to be done at home, but we are trying to spread out. And Maltahöhe was the obvious choice to try and scale our sustainability. And the situation with Maltahöhe is that it is on the doorstep of a huge tourism industry around Sossusvlei and Namibia. And until now, absolutely nothing of that industry ends up at Rural Revive, or at Maltahöhe. The trucks, the supply trucks just pass through there. If you're lucky, the driver buys a packet of Coke, a packet of chips and a Coke, and off they go. So the essence of Rural Revive is really to try and connect Maltahöhe with the tourism industry and build a bridge. I think, let's try another slide. Okay, so Maltahöhe is a tiny village, about 5,000 inhabitants. Only, I think, 30% are somehow employed. So it's the usual problem, and it's a pretty desolate place, which we try to change. Okay, that's our signature picture, because there is no quick fixes in sustainability. So everything you do is a long journey and a long rocky road. So we use this picture to get that message across. And so there's a whole history how Rural Revive originated, but let's look at the present. So today, Rural Revive comprises a whole toolbox of interventions which we have to address these 5 global issues. So obviously, the big one is climate change. Another big one that really became apparent just before COVID is the whole question of wealth inequality in the world, and as we know in Namibia. The third one is food security or food insecurity. Then obviously the whole waste thing, and then the global challenge of youth exodus from the countryside. It's the same problem even in Europe, in South America. Young people don't have any opportunities in the countryside, so they all leave for the big cities and very often end up in shacks. Okay. So Rural Revive has got 9 fields of activity. So the central one is enterprise development, sort of small enterprise development, and reviving that economy around Maltahöhe and the lodges and building a circular desert-based economy. The next or the natural aspect is horticulture, food production for own consumption and for the lodges in the area. Then we've got education. That's a no-brainer, and that ranges really from primary school to tertiary education, which would be vocational training. So we are actually shifting the Wolwedans Desert Academy to Maltahöhe now, bring it to where the people are, and look at 3 fields. It's hospitality, horticulture, and facility maintenance. Then we've got resources, so that's essentially energy and water, fresh water and wastewater, which is a huge thing in Maltahöhe. Solid waste management in the town, but also, the whole recycling process between the lodges Maltahöhe, and we are actually now busy with a depot in Marienthal. Then we've got basic healthcare. We actually changed that to people well-being, so that's that whole aspect. And then there's transport and logistics, connecting Maltahöhe with a number of lodges. Initially, twice a week, there's a transport service which will kick off mid-May, so it's like the good old post bus. And then we've got culture and heritage and media ecology. Let's not go into that detail. These are our values. Let's skip that one as well. And the idea is that, we create a blueprint or, a lighthouse project which can then hopefully be copy-pasted to other small villages, not only the region in Namibia, but, regional. And of course, every village has got its own little situation, but there's a lot of aspects you can pick and choose and transplant, for instance, to Korijas or Kamanyap, okay? That's just our logo. You all know this road sign, so we took that, they say in Maltahöhe is where the tar road ends and the gravel road starts, so that's one aspect. Let's skip. Then in Maltahöhe you have a T-junction, where this is the tar road and this is the gravel road, and it's quite symbolic because it's sort of, we are at a junction as humanity and we need to choose the right turnoff. And then you see the 9 points, that's those 9 fields of activity, and then there's some color ones, that's the 5 C's. I repeat them: commerce, conservation, community, culture, and consciousness, okay? And then obviously all these fields are interconnected, so you can't look at one in isolation. And so we started 3 years ago. It's actually quite remarkable what has happened in 3 years. For me, I'm quite impatient and I'm always a bit frustrated. But if you look at your pictures at the end of the year and say, wow, a lot has gone up, okay? And this is sort of quite symbolic, I think. This is what the church, Erf, as we call it, looked like 18 months ago. And this is what we have there today. So there is really very fast progress. At the moment, the focus is very much on the horticulture and a laundry. So there's a laundry service in Maltahöhe that provides service for any lodge in the region. So obviously to save water and bring the jobs where the people are in Maltahöhe. So the laundry was the kickoff, and horticulture and food production on a big scale and on a small scale, you know, with smallholder farmers that are trained and guided and coached. We look at really making the Darweb constituency self-sufficient with vegetables. And there's obviously a lot of job creation and opportunity, and my hope is that a youngster in Maltahöhe in 10 years' time will wake up in the morning and know why he's there and not say, let me get the hell out of here. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Stefan. It's a very exemplary project, you know, as so many lodges in the country are doing. They see themselves in isolation. Wolwedans is going a different direction. In the previous set of talks, you actually saw also Gondwana now looking into going into a different direction. You're actually our pathfinders into the future. Thank you for your contribution. I'm going to open up the room now for questions. Any questions out of the audience? Yes, Immo, here's the microphone.
I cannot stop to wonder about the design of those wicking beds and the shade and everything. It looks so stunningly designed. So I just wanted to know who's designing that for you. That's you?
No, okay, that's yeah, it's not rocket science. It's basically planter boxes, which you need in Maltahöhe because the whole place is built on solid rock. So you need to come off the ground. One of the big challenges is to fill those boxes with you know, biomass and compost. So that's one of the huge challenges. And this is actually sort of yeah, this idea of agri-PV. So those are solar panels that power the laundry. And you need in Maltahöhe, you need to be energy self-sufficient because sometimes the village council doesn't pay NumPower, and then and if you want to provide a service, you can't tell them, sorry, the power was off. So we are busy getting 100% yeah, self-sufficient in power. That's sort of phase one, and there's another one to come.
Thank you. Yes, I've got a question. I think I saw that. Okay, let me give you the microphone first and then.
Stefan, I'd like to know the people that's employed to run the laundry and all that. Is that from Wolwedans or is that from Maltahöhe?
Very good question. So initially, the Wolwedans Foundation it was and still is the driver behind the project. But we are now in the process of registering Rural Revive as a Section 21. And whilst Wolwedans Foundation will take ownership of a number of projects, like the vocational training and the whole waste thing in partnership with others, there are certain things that will be vested under Rural Revive as a non-profit. It's a Section 21. And also to make Rural Revive neutral, and I forgot to mention that earlier on, which is probably a bridge into the subject matter. You know, we want it to be an open system, and we really want to encourage other lodges, other operators, corporates. At this point, I must mention that Capricorn Foundation is our first Namibian corporate donor. We want to get as many people on board as possible who can choose whatever little or big project they want to tackle, depending on their means. So it's sort of a hybrid. So the umbrella is Rural Revive. It's a Section 21. It's got a separate board, obviously with stakeholders from Maltahöhe. And then there is a lot of niches where people can do what they can do best. That's the idea. So the whole horticulture, food production, the desert runner transport system, the laundry, there's a canteen, all these things are vested under Section 21, non-profit, and that's sort of just to keep the whole thing going.
I'm an economic thinker, and I always think that things need to or can operate on a cost recovery basis. So I think the idea is so good, it will have to pay for itself, and it can do that. Next question.
I was always concerned if you encourage people to do backyard gardening. Now, I understand if soil conditions is very bad, but there's always containers to be have, and you can work in containers. If the people that are living in Maltahöhe produce their products in backyards and individual houses, would it be possible to connect them to the supply line through your project?
Yes, that's totally the idea. So it's like laundry. If you want to provide a service, you need to deliver. So we need like a constant flow of produce, which will primarily come out of these gardens, and maybe larger scale productions around Maltahöhe. But bringing small-scale farmers like resettlement farmers and even people in Maltahöhe town on board as suppliers is really part and parcel of the whole thing. And we have a huge seedling factory, seedling nursery, where the production is sort of planned. Then you get like somebody who works out what is needed, and then these people can. The first set they get for free, like 20 trays of cabbage. The next ones they will have to buy. And then you say, okay, if we give you 20 cabbages or 200 and you come and bring 180 3 or 4 months later, there's a guarantee that that cabbage will be bought at a reasonable price. If somebody else decides I'm going to produce 3 tons of pumpkins, and drops them at the barn. By the way, the barn is a key component. It's a trading hub we are busy setting up there. Then there's no guarantee that it will be bought. So that there is definitely a very strong push to bring as many little farmers on board as possible.
Thank you, Stefan. I think we have time for one more question. Peter Allen.
Sorry, I just got here late. Just a quick, maybe on the supply line thing is, I'm in retail. I recently joined Spar as a Spar retailer. The food health is a huge concern when it comes to, everybody wants to buy from the local people, but the way the shop is going to be held responsible if anything is wrong with that food. So when it comes to grey waters and all those things, these are things that we also need to just think about, that the way it comes to the store will have to go through let's say a third party that they can just put the guarantee stamp on this stuff is fine. Everybody, all the retailers, I've been in this Spar conference, they want to help Betty from the corner and they want to help this, but it's getting, in Namibia, it's getting more and more difficult to do that now. Because of food health regulations and all that, on all aspects. I'm also a chicken farmer. Even there, they got restrictions now. We used to have a lot of autonomy in that, and in the last 4 years specifically, I saw many restrictions coming into place. So I don't know if we should maybe change our focus instead of going through the retail chain straight to the consumer. Because what I find also is I buy veggies by Food Love. I think it's not Food Lovers. Namibian food market. It's so cheap. I grow veggies. I know what it costs to make cheap. I don't know how anybody can make money down the farmer level. So we need to get the veggies straight to the consumer if we want to have these farmers actually make any significant money. Just a way of thinking.
Yeah, thank you, Peter Allen. Do you want to answer to that, Stefan?
Yeah, maybe just quickly. So that's obviously a huge challenge, and it's, I think, okay, this shouldn't be on camera. What we try to achieve with Living Earth and grassroots level initiatives is contrary to what, regulators see. And I mean, it's a global problem. So if you got the health inspector to the green market, there would probably be half of the shops would be closed, and that's a real dilemma, you know, because you don't want all this, shall we call it deep state, you know, to regulate how the pesto is made, that is, you know, put into a recycled glass and then sold to the lodge or to the end user at the barn. You know, and that's there are definitely challenges coming. But I think for a start, the stamp of approval will be rule revived. So I mean, there will be a quality check. They will know the producers where the stuff comes from, and one would imagine that there won't be a watermelon that's growing in sewage water that's ending up on the lodge plate. Yeah.